What's going on, passport bros, and what's going on, my fellow passport bro? I'm IP International Passport here again for yet another classic video. Let's get straight into it, brothers. So in this video, I want to break down a couple points that brothers need to be aware of about Japanese women. These are points that I've noticed, right? These are traits I've noticed with some Japanese women, a good amount of them. And based on my research, it's kind of a common thing in Japan that brothers need to be very careful about and vet very, very well. Now, I'm not saying give up on Japanese women completely. No way. Okay, there are many pleasant Japanese women. Feminine, submissive, great to be around, coachable. But there are some points that brothers need to be very aware about before considering wifing up a Japanese chick. There are many great Japanese wives, many great Japanese girlfriends. However, please be aware of these points because I want you brothers to be at a good relationship and a good marriage. Let's get started. So the first point I want to discuss, brothers, is Japanese women can be very two-faced, and that is a thing that's quite common in their culture. There's a term for it called hone and tataime, okay, but I'm going to break it down in English terminology. So what does that mean? It means that in relationships with Japanese women, they are very well known to hide their true feelings about things that they may not like in a relationship, or things that you may have done that may have upset her, but she won't tell you. So essentially, you're dealing with a woman that, not all women, but this is quite common in Japan, where she's putting on a facade, all right, to keep you happy, to make sure everything goes smoothly. But the problem with that, brothers, is that she's not telling you the truth, okay? So if there's a problem in the relationship or marriage, you won't get the truth out of her, okay? And that is very bad for a relationship. In my opinion, a relationship should be an open communication where if there's anything wrong, both parties should have the say to address what's wrong in the relationship. But with Japanese women, they keep it in. So it comes to the point where they would keep in all this anger or all this distress, right? And it starts to negatively impact the relationship to the point where she breaks it off. And you're thinking, why did she break it off? You thought everything was going well, she's smiling, she's cooking, she's being feminine, etc., etc. But deep inside, she's not happy about something. So it is very common for Japanese women to just end things. And you try to get the answer out of her. Listen, what's going on? It was going well. Why did you end it? She won't tell you the truth. She will keep her true feelings to herself. Brothers, be very careful when dealing with Japanese women like that. So my advice for you, brothers, is that before you get into a relationship with a Japanese woman, let her know that you're very aware of this two-faced culture in Japan. Is called hone and tataime, okay? Tell her that when you're gonna date me, I need you to express your true feelings. Don't keep it in and don't pretend. They are very good at pretending, okay? So that's the first point that brothers need to be aware about, that I don't like when dealing with Japanese women. I have personally gone through that myself in the UK when I was dealing with a Japanese chick. And she was just, something was wrong that she didn't like, and she would just keep it in until she just had enough. All right. And I finally got the truth out of her, and I'm thinking, why didn't you tell me? Okay, so brothers, be very, very careful there. The second point that I dislike about Japanese women is that when you get married to one, it's very common that she will take the man's salary. It's very common in Japanese culture and customs. I disagree with that, and there have been problems between Western men and Japanese women in terms of the Japanese woman demanding that the Western husband gives gives her his salary because it's what she's accustomed to in her own family history. Her mom did that to her dad, etc., etc., and it's very well known in Japanese culture. That's a point that I disagree with, and that's something that I can't get down with. But it's very common in Japan for it to be that way. Once again, brothers, you're going to make it very clear. If you want me to wife you up, Japanese woman, that ain't happening in our relationship. Brothers, you do not want your woman, your Japanese wife, to take your salary because it's quite common in Japanese culture. So that's a point that I don't like and I very much disagree with. And that's very common amongst marriages with Japanese women. So brothers, please bear that in mind if you're thinking about wifing up a Japanese chick. Another point that I believe passport bros must be aware of with Japanese women, and it's something that I don't like about them, is that Japanese women are extremely sensitive. What does that mean? So when I say sensitive, I'm applying this to the early stages of dating. So the first date, second date, third date, or third dates, right? So if you say something that she may not like, or you do, and the average person would agree that it was very small, it's nothing, I guarantee you will never see that Japanese girl again. Something like, maybe you didn't iron your shirt, right? Or maybe you said a joke that she didn't like, or maybe you suggested some improvements to something about her that she took offense to, but the average person would be like, that's nothing. That was a funny joke or whatever. You won't see her again. They are very sensitive, in that early stages of dating. And that's a problem here, because if a woman takes offense to something that the average person would deem as nothing, that means you have to tiptoe, right, in the early stages of dating a Japanese chick. Don't say the wrong thing, don't do the wrong thing. Keep it very boring, essentially, brothers. Because if you say something that she doesn't like, right, but we know the average person or the average woman would be like, that's nothing, that's funny, you won't see her again. And it's something that I verified with other people who have agreed with me that I spoke to. That early stage of dating, right, you do something that's she deems as pretty bad, but the average person doesn't see it as bad, it's over. Crickets. Another very important point that I have to point out about Japanese women that I definitely don't like is that the vast majority of Japanese women are atheists. And that could be an issue if you're a religious brother that believes in God, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, and you want to date a Japanese woman. It is very, very likely that the Japanese woman that you're considering will be an atheist. She doesn't believe in a higher power. And for many brothers want to have their girlfriend believe in a higher power. You want your girlfriend to submit to God, to submit to you, etc., etc. All right. So essentially, brothers, you're actually going to compromise on certain aspects to bring in an atheist woman into your life. So a Japanese woman, although she's atheist, she would date a Christian or a Muslim. However, she will not convert to your religion. So you can forget about her converting to Christianity or Islam. It's not impossible, but it's very rare and unlikely. To make matters worse, right, the amount of Christians and Muslim people that are Japanese is extremely low in Japan. All right. So essentially, you get your morality and beliefs from the Bible, the Quran, God, and she gets her morality and beliefs from family, society, etc., etc. So there could be a clash between ideologies, thought processes, what's good, what's bad. What you deem bad for her could be nothing and could be good. What she deems good and nothing could be bad to you because your religion deems it to be bad. And that is a huge problem that brothers have to know and consider before wifing up a Japanese woman. One other point that passport bros must be aware of with Japanese women is that They are very prideful. Now, Japan as an overall country is a prideful country and culture. Japan first in many aspects of their society. But you would think that it is mostly the men that have that Japanese pride. Nope, wrong. Japanese women are very prideful. And when we apply that pride to a relationship or marriage sense, right? If she leaves you, right? If she wants to get a divorce, if she wants to break apart from you in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, she will never come back. There's too much pride for her to come back into a relationship. She may want to come back. She may have, thought to herself, hey, I did the wrong thing there. I want to get back with, she wants to get back with the guy, right? But she will never do it because of that pride they have. They're very prideful people to the point where, in my opinion, it is detrimental to a Japanese woman's mentality and psychology. And I've dealt with that on a personal level too. Okay, so all that cute stuff, all that kawaii stuff, all that their dime stuff, that's great, right? But understand that they're very prideful, and we know that pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. All right, pride, too much pride is not a good thing. And that is what Japanese women have in relationships, to the point where it is detrimental, all right, to anything. All right, you don't want to date a prideful woman. Now, there are benefits here, right? The benefit is that she'll be prideful to show you around. Oh, she has a brother. She's proud of you, that she's in your life, etc., etc. But when things go wrong, right? When there's maybe a culture clash, right? She will big up her Japanese pride and culture against yours. It is very unlikely that she would, put your culture over hers. In many cases in relationships, it's Japanese culture or the highway, right? In many cases, not all cases, but in many cases. So she has too much pride for her to take a step back from her Japanese culture and let your culture dominate her culture or the household. Okay, so brothers, be very aware of that. That's a very important point. So the last point that I know passport bros must be aware of is the huge cheating culture in Japan, right? And unfortunately, there are some Japanese women that do cheat on their boyfriends and husband. So gotta be very careful there. Watch your girl very carefully. Vet her before making it permanent, and even confront her about, listen, there's a cheating culture in Japan, and let her know that that's not happening in your relationship. And the thing about that is, brothers, is that they are very good at hiding things. Very good. So you may never suspect that she's cheating, because nothing has changed. She's going to be the same person, same behavior, same traits, but she's cheating, and you will never know that. And I've heard this on my streams. I've heard this on the Patreon. Go and check out the Patreon. Is that they're very good cheaters, right? And gotta be very careful, brothers. Extremely careful. So watch yourself, especially in that culture. Watch how your girl moves, even though they lie very, very well. Now, I'm not saying all Japanese women cheat. Okay, I'm saying that some do, because it's part of the culture there. The men cheat, the women cheat too, and it's just the way it is. And there are situations where the man and woman are both married, things aren't working out, they've essentially divorced, but they haven't divorced, they're just separated, right? So they live in the same house, but separate beds, and they're both cheating on each other. And that's common in there in Japan. So be very careful, because you may end up dealing with a chick that's cheating on her husband or boyfriend with you. And hell no, we don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Hell no. So that's a last point that I want to bring up there about Japan and the cheating culture there. Not all of them cheat, definitely not, we can't say that. However, some do, and watch yourself and tread carefully. So brothers, those are all my points. Now I'm not saying all these points apply to every single Japanese woman, far from it, okay? There are some where none of these points apply to them. There are some where it does apply to them. So just watch yourself, make sure you move out there correctly in Japan, and vet very well using these key points that I've mentioned in this video. Japanese women, they're still submissive, they're still feminine, they're still great to be around with, and that's why I love and like. So I am not ruling out Japanese women completely. I am not ruling them out completely. I'm just making sure brothers navigate themselves very well when they're in Japan or dealing with a Japanese woman. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below, and please like the video. And of course brothers, and of course make sure you please join the Patreon for IT mentorship, book your IT consultation in regards to getting into IT, and of course on the Patreon there's more intel on Japanese women and foreign women, etc, etc. And of course brothers, please cop the merch, that would be greatly appreciated. Hit the PayPal for support. Please support me any way you can, and that will be greatly appreciated. I'm International Passport Brothers, and I will see you brothers on my next video. And also hit the super thanks as well if you've enjoyed this video in the comment section below. I will see you brothers very soon. Peace out. IP out.